Well, okay, nice to meet you. Said hello, friends and relatives. My name is Wind Dancer. My English name is Jenna Skunkcap. I have been a teacher for the last 10 years. I'm an alumni from the Grizz. Go Grizz! In 2013, I have my education in elementary ed with a minor in Native American Studies, and throughout growing up, my family was always big on education. I am a third generation teacher. Today we are visiting Chewin Blackbones Campground. We're here with our family set up camping. It is a great area for our people, and then for also a great landmark to also showcase what the Blackfeet Reservation has to offer. Tourism here on the Amskapi Piikani Reservation is something that has been up and coming within the last 5 years. Our people, it's change, and so they're susceptible to change, but we have to stay with the modern times now, and also to be able to share our history and our culture with the non-natives, to the tourists that are coming to our country, wanting to partake in this fantastic scenery here. We have the Mustakiks, the mountains that you can hike and play. It's so hard to tell people that we live next to the Glacier National Park, because they're like, oh, wow, that's just in your background, you know, your playground, in your backyard. And it's just like, yes, it is. But, you know, it's the backbone of the earth. And so we just want to be able to share it, but we want to share it the right way.
So the campground we're in today was one of our most prominent campgrounds back in the 80s. You know, they told me it was like a KOA campground at one time. When I started the campgrounds, I began to call a lot of the other reservations. We have 12 tribes in Montana, 7 reservations. And so I start calling all these tribes and saying, or my friends that I knew, the networks and stuff that I developed over the years, and I'd call them and say, hey, you know, I'm managing this campground, or I'm operating these campgrounds, you know, what do we do? Or, you know, tell me about this and that. And some of them would say, well, we don't even have a campground, you know, or we used to have one back in the 80s or 70s too. And, you know, and so the only ones that I had success with was my friend. His name was Lester Big Crane, and he was with the Salish Kootenai tribe. So I started to pick his brain, and, you know, he was more than willing to help us out, or help me out. And, you know, he gave me a lot of ideas. And so I start calling around, you know, down the Highline, those other tribes down there too. And they said, well, we want to get this going and all of that. And so, you know, I could only go to one person and look, and then just going out throughout Montana, or every place I travel, I was picking up pamphlets and getting ideas from them. And so I thought, well, you know, this is really hard or really difficult to do, and I want to start something with that. And plus I want to help Montana. You know, a lot of the tourists come from South Dakota, and then they go to Yellowstone and then straight to Glacier Park. And so just observing and, you know, all my research and going through there, and then beginning to see the tourism part of it and seeing how that would go, you know, that began to hamster or light bulb in my mind, and get that off, you know, tourism and camping. And, you know, this is all coming together now, because remember I said I didn't know anything about camping and tourism and all of that. And then being with Glacier Park, you know, our reservation is 1.2 million acres, or 1.5 million acres, and Glacier Park is 1.5 million acres. And, you know, we'd always see on the news that you know, there was like 3 million, you know, record year Glacier National Park. We have over 3 million visitors going through. And so I began to think, well, how can we get some of that, you know, because they say you guys are at the east entrance of Glacier National Park, and the west entrance is on West Glacier. And so, you know, so I start, you know, trying to pull all this stuff together with Salish Kootenai and the other tribes and all of that. And so And so that was my biggest deal, and I started MITA, the Montana Indigenous Tourism Association, with all the tribes, and that was that commission I told you about. It's how we start helping all of them and this and that. And so that's, the tourism began to go on up and up until this past year, and you know, I hope it still continues, you know, with the help of Kristen Lamro and Jane Rabel you know, we started this organization for all the tribes, and we hope it goes on the up and up. But, you know, I guess winding out or closing up, that's, you know, what my biggest stance was to more native in there, because we had organizations coming in talking about Montana, and they weren't even from here.
They don't understand.
And the tourism and seeing what works here and what doesn't. And, you know, we were sitting there watching them at these conferences. It's like, that's not what, or, you know, they're not from, and you know, saying how well it is, and, you know, and it just didn't fit right. And so, you know, we got them to listen, and that's where we're at today. But anyway, that's...
So within the last 5 years under that, Gayle actually won the award. Well, the Blackfeet Nation, along with Miss Dr. Lambert, they won the 2023 Tourism Award.
Oh,
that's right. I
At the
won
state
that
of
award last year.
Montana.
We the governor's conference. I got the award for that, for creating that. Plus, I forgot, I got 2 other awards in Virginia and in Albuquerque for how we used our community members to enhance our campgrounds and our tourism around here because of the social help programs. We got those 2 awards, and we were recognized by that. So yeah, I did win 3 awards.
And so with that, you know, once they get in contact, you know, with the networking, Gayle is able to put in an outreach to a mass majority of people. He knows the ins and outs for them, where to go. And so we are ready for you. It's just bring us your ideas, and we will make your dreams come true.